Greetings, 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 greetings. Something a little soft, slow, and sweet for you this evening. How's everybody doing? It's me, Empress Oracle. On behalf of Star Sea Galactic Federation, I've been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information has been given directly to me as a divine channel, and any use or reproduction without the proper acknowledgement from where it was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and individuals. So let's get right to it. So first and foremost, a lot of people are, blood of Jesus, a lot of people are starting their spiritual journeys. Now, it's very important as you start your spiritual journey to make sure that you are working on your discernment, because unfortunately, as I have said many times before, Earth is actually a school for souls to develop, right? Which means that life is going to be full of tests. Now, just because somebody may be in a more advantageous position in life does not mean that they're not getting tested in life. And as you can see right now, we are at a point of criticality in the world overall because people are passing tests that were put in place not only to advance ourselves spiritually, but for evolution as a whole. Instead of going forward, evolution is going backward. And that's not the way that it's supposed to be. First and foremost, I'm going to say, for those of you who do incorporate religion with spirituality, whether you were raised in the church and you've decided to go the spiritual path, or you are new to Christianity, Buddhism, whatever religion, I don't care, potato, you believe in a higher source outside of yourself, right? It's critical for you to understand that regardless of what you believe in, it's important for you to understand you're going to go through spiritual tests for your evolution, for your soul's growth. And as a child of God, whether you want to call God Source, Allah, Buddha, to each his own. It's not for me to judge. However, what I'm going to say, something very critical that I feel as though a lot of people need to understand, and I feel like it's very important for me to point out at this time, is the same way that I say whatever you focus on grows. You have to understand, okay? Whatever energy you put out into the universe towards yourself or towards anybody, you are going to attract that the same. So there is no way that you can say that you are a spiritually evolved being or on any kind of spiritual journey or a child of God or any, religious entity that you were raised hearing about. There's no way that you can say that you belong to any of those, but yet you don't believe in compassion, forgiveness, understanding, and have discernment on when to use those things. Now, what I need for everybody to understand is right and wrong is wrong. So no sin weighs more than the other. Unfortunately, some things they have a more profound effect on people, or they may be more gruesome, right? Because of the details of it. So they carry, a higher punishment, which is understandable because you don't want to chop off somebody's head for stealing, right? You don't want to slap a pedophile. Well, I'm not even going to say that because I live in America, so I'm just going to be quiet. Y'all already know. They be on bullshit with that shit. But anywho, back at the ranch, as I was saying, yes, you have to understand though, a part of passing tests in this school, a part of your soul's growth and journey is even if you don't understand people, to forgive them. Forgiveness is very important, not just for that person, for yourself. Because what you don't understand is when you lack forgiveness, it causes energetic blockages. It prohibits your soul growth and it stops you from attracting things. What if you made a mistake one day? Because a lot of times People make some of the worst mistakes in the blink of an eye. Everything is going so smoothly. What if you made a random mistake one day, right? And you had lived your whole life doing everything according to plan, to societal norms and everything, law-abiding citizen. You would want some kind of understanding. You would want some kind of forgiveness. Now, that's not just to say, like, say if that one mistake was, you know, drinking and driving and taking somebody's life. Everybody, for the most part, understands that if they have an action, it's going to cause a reaction. So therefore, you understand, as per the laws, if you do something like that, what the punishment is. But if it's not something that severe, and it is something that is forgivable, forgive that person. You don't have to still be around that person. You don't ever have to deal with that person. The problem with forgiveness that people keep misunderstanding is people feel as though in order to forgive somebody, they still have to be around that person. They still have to interact, right? To show that they truly forgive by acting like nothing ever happened. And that actually is unreasonable. That's insulting your own intelligence. Because then after that, you give somebody the impression that it's okay to do that. So yes, they will do it again. Right? Every action causes a reaction. So you also have to think about it. You want God to forgive you when you do certain things. When you grow and you realize the depth and severity of the things that you've done. So therefore, you have to have some understanding in certain situations for people's growth. But you also have to use your discernment on when to forgive from a distance. If somebody, whether they're a family member, a friend, or you feel like you owe them loyalty because you've been around them for so long, if your energy is not rocking with them, whether they've wronged you or not, it's okay for you to forgive them and to love them from a distance. Or hell, you don't even have to love them at all. But it's okay. It is okay to forgive them. Fuck a street code. It's not about a street code. It's about wanting forgiveness for your own soul's growth. It's about not having any unnecessary blockages in your energy, right? If you even take it further than that, don't even worry about man. When you make your mistakes that nobody knows about, you want God to forgive you, right? If you believe in God, you want God to forgive you, right? So let's just say Judgment Day comes and you have to go and answer for certain things. What do you think is going to happen? You think God's going to be like, yeah, you kind of was a bitch your whole life. You weren't really forgiving anybody. You good? Come on. No. It's not saying to be a doormat for anybody either. The problem is people feel as though forgiveness and being a doormat go hand in hand, and they do not. Right? You establish healthy boundaries with people, but you forgive and you release that energy. Release that energy. Because all it's doing is blocking you, not the person you won't forgive. That's what people need to understand. Holding grudges is what has the world in the state that it is. Because now the world leaders are running off of egos and holding grudges. It's up to us as a people to kind of take a step back and do some self-introspection, which means kind of look at yourself and be for real with yourself. Especially since most people don't really like for others to tell them the truth on what shit really is. So sometimes you have to be real with yourself, especially if you know you're one of those kind of people. Somebody has to do it. And unfortunately, if you're not real with yourself, God will make sure to bring somebody across your path that'll be real with you. And it's not going to be in a way that you're going to like. So I think it's time. Anybody on a spiritual journey, whether it's with God, Source, the divine, Buddha, Allah, potato, potato. Understand, you get out what you put in, and that includes forgiveness. It's time for us all to move on. Be safe. I love you all.